Assalamu alaikum, sister. Thank you for writing to our live session. And looking at your question and your concerns, I'm really sorry to hear that you're in this situation. It's a common situation where parents force their child to marry someone whom they don't want to marry or whom they don't even like, that they're not compatible with, they haven't gotten a chance to know them. And a lot of times it does work out wonderfully, but then on the other hand, sometimes it does not. One thing about Islam, and I'm not sure if you know or not, but you cannot be forced to marry anybody, right? Allah gave us that right as Muslim women to marry who we choose, as long as the man is Islamically appropriate, meaning he's a Muslim, he loves Allah, he follows the foundations of Islam. He is, he would make a good husband, a good father. He's righteous, and the list goes on. It's not a real confining list, but it boils down to that the man must be, a good Muslim. He must be loving, and he must be of good character. The brother in Pakistan who your parents want you to marry does not sound to me to be of good character. May Allah forgive me if I'm wrong, but based on what you wrote about him sending inappropriate emojis and songs and things like that are kind of indicators, as well as him breaking your confidence when you told him from the beginning that you really didn't want to marry him and you really did not like him. Even though that might have hurt his feelings, he still had no right to violate your trust. The other person that you're involved with, the brother that you're involved with, he sounds really nice. He sounds, like the illustration I gave you earlier, of a good Muslim husband, a choice for a good Muslim husband, right? And you seem to recognize that, and it's just really sad that your parents won't stop and listen and get a chance to get to know him, and really consider the two of you getting married. That is very sad. I have a feeling that by them wanting you to marry somebody who's in Pakistan, that is possibly either relatives of yours or close friends of your family, that maybe they had promised them a couple years ago or whatever that you would marry their son. I'm not sure what the situation is, but it does seem as if their social standing and their pride and all that lies on whether you marry this guy or not. And that's not right, because this marriage is not about them, your parents. It's not about the family in Pakistan. It's not about, the community. It's about what you want, sister. It's about you. It's about you choosing somebody who you are going to live the rest of your life with, inshallah. So, with that in mind, the other thing is that you don't need your parents' permission to marry somebody, right? Of course, you want to be kind to your parents at all times and respectful, but you don't have to marry who they want you to marry. You can marry who you want to marry, and you don't need their permission. Now, if you were underage, yes, depending on where you lived, you might need their permission. However, you're 20 years old, and you do not need your parents' permission. You are free to leave, marry this other brother, and set up a new home with him once you're married. Now, inshallah, if you do decide to do that, just make sure that this brother has, something set up, right? Like a house or an apartment, a job, etc. Because you just don't want to leave and then you get married and you have nothing. Do you know what I'm saying? But he doesn't sound like the kind of person who would put you in that kind of a situation anyhow. But just, crossing all our T's and dotting our I's, just make sure that everything is in place should you do decide to do this. If you do decide to marry the brother here in the United States, and you're confident in that, inshallah, I would tell your parents. I would try to tell them at a time when things are calm. If that's not possible, you may just want to leave. I don't like giving that advice, but in your situation, because your parents have been abusive to you, that's why I'm putting that in there. You did mention that your parents were abusive to you, and they were yelling at you and telling you to take it as a punishment, and they physically abused you. And in addition, your mother said, that she wishes you dead. I mean, those are kind of like, that's like very severe, harsh, unloving words. Although I know your parents love you very much, and people say things they don't mean, but still the situation is that there's a possibility that if you did tell your parents at the home alone, things might get really ugly fast. So either tell them with somebody with you. If there's a family member that is supportive of you in your decision, have that family member come with you to talk to your parents. If that's not possible, sister, then just, speak with a brother, get married, and start your life. And inshallah, hopefully your parents will come around one day to accept this. It might be a little while, but, hopefully Allah will soften their hearts. And I'm encouraging you to make dua to Allah about this situation. Ask Allah what is the right thing to do and how to talk to your parents, because He knows better than anybody, And in this situation, you really got your back up against a wall because of your parents. Thank goodness you got back from Pakistan. So yeah, sister, just, try talking with your parents, with somebody with you. If that's not possible, or you fear for your safety, and you really believe in this man, his brother, for marriage, then marry him and start your life fresh. It's sad that things have to turn out this way, because there's family is so important. You know what I'm saying? But a lot of times, people are left with no choice. I'm sure you would love to sit down and talk with your parents about this brother you want to marry, and introduce him and talk about the wedding plans and all the happiness, and you're missing out on that, and that's not your fault. But there's a lot of families that their children have to go through this because the parents are set on them marrying somebody that they've chosen, and again, it usually has some social ties to it, and it just makes it very difficult. But my prayer is that if you do decide to do this, that your parents their hearts will soften through the mercy of Allah, and they will welcome him into the family. So sister, in the meantime, stay close to Allah, make dua, make istikhara prayer, be kind to your parents and merciful, even though they've hurt you many times and they've been abusive. Still be kind to them, but plan for your future, a future that you want, a future with a man that you feel will be a very good husband to you and that you get along with and is compatible, and that will lead you to Jannah. And with that said, please keep us posted on how you're doing and what the outcome was, and we wish you the best.